watching CNN. I'm Brooke Baldwin. CNN is getting more clarity today about what happened in the hours before that ambush attack in Niger that resulted in the death of these 4 American soldiers. Accompanied by troops from Niger, U.S. military officials tell CNN that these soldiers were gathering intelligence on a terror leader. They came under attack on their way back to the operating base when they stopped in a village to enable Nigerian troops to replenish supplies. They also met with local leaders as a courtesy. A remotely piloted drone arrived overhead within a couple of minutes of requests for help, but was unable to carry out airstrikes because it wasn't armed. 5 Nigerian soldiers were also killed. The Senate Armed Services Committee received a classified briefing today from the Pentagon, and my next guest is a senior member of that committee. He is Republican Senator Roger Wicker, who is with me now. Senator, thank you so much for the time.
Hello, Brooke. Glad to be with you.
All right, so I know there's a lot you can't say, as this was a classified briefing, but of the information that you can, how can you describe to us what you learned today?
Well, I think you've given a pretty good gist of what happened. Let me just say, in a general sense, I think we're right to be there. We have some 800 troops in Niger. About 100 of them are special operations. And they are there in the American national interest. They're assisted greatly by our French allies and by British allies. And what we are doing is trying to prevent this area of Africa from becoming another staging ground, another training ground for terrorist groups like Boko Haram and Al Qaeda. So if we want to prevent another 9/11, being staged from a place like Afghanistan, we need to be where we are now in Africa. And so I think it's an important mission, and we got specific details about this tragedy, but also some overall guidance about where we are in the region.
Senator, I just jotted down what you said off the top there. You said we are right to be there. Do you think we should have a greater presence there based upon what you know?
Well, we're going to listen to the generals on that, but we're there in a train, assist, and advise capacity. We're not there to have combat troops, and clearly if we're fired upon, as we were in this situation, we're going to engage and defend ourselves. But we continue to listen to the top experts in the Pentagon, and when they say we need something to get the mission done and prevent terrorism from coming to our shores, we'll listen to these generals and give them what they need, give our troops what they need.
Senator Wicker, obviously there were questions, and I'm sure you all asked about this 48 hours later when Sergeant LaDavid Johnson's, body was found, was separated from the team, found about a mile away. Did you get any clarity into why that was?
No, we didn't, actually. No,
were those questions asked?
The clarity we got is that the Pentagon acknowledges that they need to drill down more on that particular question and get back to us, get back to the families. The information that we have indicates that he was killed in that exchange. And it wasn't some hours later or some days later. But we don't have that information, and they are not able to tell us. But I know they owe it to the families and to the American people to get better information, and I expect they will. I thought that they were being very forthright with us. They told us what they knew, and they told us what we still had questions about. Still need to dig further.
We heard from the president yesterday, and he addressed this, and he said he himself did not specifically authorize this particular mission in Niger, but that he had given his generals the authority to make these sorts of calls. Is that at all a concern for you?
Well, this particular exercise it turned into kinetic activity when they were fired upon. But certainly the commander-in-chief knows that we have troops in the Lake Chad area, and he knows exactly why we're there, and why we're there is to fight international terrorism and to protect Americans here in the homeland. So that particular event would not have required authorization. Our folks were attacked and they fired back, and tragedy happened. Let me also add, I heard today on one of the news stations that these particular Americans were not highly trained, and I do want to make it clear that that is not accurate. That these were special operations personnel. They volunteered for the most dangerous type of military action, and
Yes,
they were
sir.
highly trained, and they're all the more honored because they stepped forward into something very, very dangerous.
Absolutely, and we thank them and their families for their service.
Absolutely.
I hope we and the families and you get the information that we're all looking for. Senator Wicker, appreciate you. Thank you.
They owe us some more information,
They do.
and I do think we'll get it.
Keep asking for it. Thank you, Senator, very much.
Thank you.